Good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Lamont Gilchrist. www.lgfitnessmessiah.com is my webpage. Lamont Gilchrist Natty. Lamont Gilchrist, natural pro bodybuilder. On YouTube, Lamont Gilchrist. On Instagram, follow me. LG Get in Shape on Twitter. Lamont Gilchrist, Lifetime Natural Pro on Facebook. So I've been trying some couple of different formats because I got a journal and some memoirs coming out about my fitness experience and the things that I experienced as I've matured in this industry, from athlete to collegiate student to professional to managing gyms to all the other different arenas. Right now in CrossFit, back to bodybuilding. Holistic approaches to health and longevity. Being an athlete, it was a lot of different than being a civilian competing like I do. You know, when I was competing as a collegiate athlete, professional athlete, and stuff like that, there was different levels to this. But here's a quote that I want to give you. Today is my social aspect of this big problem, bamboozlement that most people are under when it comes to food and exercise and all this other things. Here's one of the greatest quotes that I've ever read, and I keep this in mind when I think of stuff. And it goes like this. It says, person is telling a story and says that she freed 1,000 slaves. And then she goes on to say that she would have freed 1,000 more slaves if they would have known that they were slaves. And that's Harriet Tubman. That is very powerful. And that goes in the same way in most of the things that we do, as far as from a nutritional standpoint, as me being a master certified personal trainer and nutritionalist with over 20-some years of experience and over 30-some years of applied science and even dealing with it myself back to the beginning of supplementations. Shout out to my homeboy Tony Adams when we used to use that little cybergenics. It was like a fish liver oil pill when we were in college. But it just goes to show you the depths of how entwined we are as a civilization. Now, I don't give people passes, but for us, people of color, and the people who are forced to eat a particular way, we didn't have our cultural laws, we didn't have our natural foods from our environment, so these things were thrust upon us, and so we ate these particular ways. But now in a society where you think that you're free, you are truly even more enslaved because they can control your mind with advertisement. Look at the advertisement on TV. Almost every other commercial is something about food. The holidays, they control how you eat, they control your spending, they control your economics, they control the things that you do, how you feel about yourselves. And most of these holidays are, you know, for you Christians who call yourself Christians, the one coming up, Easter is basically a pagan holiday, believe out of Babylon, where it's the fertility goddess. You know, so you look at all these particular things, and the egg, that's what it represents. So you look at these mental programmings, and as a newly, not, well, I won't say newly, but as a person who's always seeking true understanding and knowledge and a true search for the Most High, you know, you have to go through these levels of understanding. I was just, you know, reading the book of Daniel, using biblical things, just going back over and just talking about everything. You know, even when they were carried off into captivity, they didn't, the ones that stayed strong and stayed dedicated to the Most High, didn't follow the eating rituals and the gluttonous acts and the different things that went on in Babylon. And something else even fascinating, if you never read the Torah or anything else, and you say you're searching for true enlightenment, then you're not really being real with yourself. You know, most people didn't even read the Bible, or don't read the Bible, don't even know the stories of the Bible. But if you're searching for the one, the Most High, then you have to go back through the sources, which will always take you back to the Moed, take you back to, they'll take you through a whole different journey to be real with yourself and to be real with where certain situations and certain understandings and certain thought processes come from. History is there. You have to decipher it because it's been painted over. People's identity has been stolen, and other things have happened. But in those histories, even just looking in those books, and not to associate or not to eat particular things and food cultures and all the other things, there are particular things that, you know, people in general were assigned to do. I mean, they were told how to eat in the beginning if you are a Christian, or if you are a person of any of the three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, then you know that these things have a bearing on your spirit, on your temple, on your soul, on your growth, on your mental capacity, the way that you associate in society with people, the people that you associate with, the way that you view not only food, but other things as far as being gluttonous. You know, usually those things carry over, or addictive, those things carry over into financial, marriage, relationship situations. You know, all these things are intertwined. It is very, you know, people use old war strategies or strategic things from the past because they work. It's one of those things. If it isn't broke, then you do not have to fix it. All you have to do, even if you sit a animal that's been domesticated away, they still have to come back to you to eat. So don't be bamboozled and don't be confused. This is strategically planned. And the way that the rabbit hole goes down is, once they have you trapped into these belief systems and holidays, they don't have to control you physically and have you in chains, because they have you in chains mentally. Once they have, that's the one of the most binding situations. You know, that's what nations and people have gone to war for. You know, ideologies and mental beliefs. So once they have you enchained mentally or controlled mentally by advertisement on TV, like I said, look at the commercial, flip through your newspaper, watch the news. They have you going down a particular pattern and a thought process that they want you to perceive and to fall under. And it's not the majority, it's the top elite that wants to keep you in control, that works with the pharmaceutical companies, that work with the FDA, that works with the war, that works with the Federal Reserves. And, you know, it's the people up there. It's not the masses. It's the masses that they keep control, so they keep at each other's throat. You know, if you keep, you know, the fastest way to grow an economy is by war. The fastest way to, you know, to enslave people is by fear, or the fear of war. So when you have these situations and you have these different things going on out here in this universe and out here in the society, it keeps people on edge. So they're willing to give up their man or their anointed right by the Most High of freedoms for a false sense of security. You know, you pay your insurance, you do all these things. They already know that. They let you go ahead and do these things. They give you the money to do this for a little short period of time, just like with the Great Depressions or other things like that. Those things are strategically planned to enslave and to cause fear, for the masses to know who is in power, and you invest into a false security other than the Most High and the knowledge that has already been given to us in the beginning. So when you start to fall into those economical, eating, gluttonous traps, holiday traps, and all these other particular aspects of things, then they don't need change because you're already in chain. And so they follow the pattern. They get you eating down this particular thing. You got this, and then they wipe you out with insurance. They wipe you out on the back end. So if you don't invest on the front end, no one's never, I've never ever heard anyone ever say that they have regrets at the front part of what it is that they're doing. When you're out here eating, partying, drinking, doing all this stuff, that everything seemed to be fun. You sort of try your first drug or whatever. No one always said, oh, I have regrets on the front end, but always on the back end, people always say, oh, I have regrets. And that is very true because they understand that concept because it's been here for thousands of years from the beginning. So on the back end, that's where they make you pay. When they make you pay with the insurance, they make you pay with medication, they make you pay by being dependent. They take your all the insurance policy that you thought you saved up, that they were actually investing the money in, that you have never actually really seen, or they never had any intent of giving it back to you. You pay for that, and then what it is that you save for your family and everything else. And then not only are you dealing with the repercussions of the front end things and not paying attention to the signs, but on the back end, you're dealing with those same issues. But now, not only you've entwined generations, your loved ones, because you taught them this. You've entwined your spouse and everyone because now they have to care for you. And then you don't have the ability to be a woman or to be a man because you're so fragile and malnourished. And didn't understand the concepts of what was going on in the big picture, that you suffer the last 20, 30, 15 years, which is a terrible death, which is not an honorable death, which is not anything that was anointed or I feel that the Most High meant for us to be suffering through, because we suffer through a lot of things. But these suffering is for our lack of education, and then these sufferings is for following after pagans and following after people and eating in these pagan type of situations and setting up these belief systems other than the belief system that that we were appointed and anointed to believe in. As we were told how to eat, how to conduct ourselves, who to interact with, the way to carry ourselves and stuff like that. So this trap just is generational trap, and I see it all the time, and it saddens me. But it is very true. So then when this started happening on the back end, people act like they don't know what's happening. Oh, I don't know why I'm getting sick. I don't know what's going on. You should know. I mean, death is coming to all of us, but the type of death is very much determined by the type of life that you live for the most part, in most cases, unless it's accidental or a situation was just brought to you that you didn't have any type of control. A person that smoke crack kind of can dictate. A person that drink can a person that eat a particular way can a person that do these particular things. A person that play with the sword or play with guns can a person that rob. So, these things are already predetermined for the most part, unless the Most High comes and lifts you up out of it, in most cases, by the way that you live, even from eating and these things and stuff like this. So you have to be knowledgeable and have to be aware of these situations and these traps and these bamboozlements and this pattern that, for us people of color who was stolen from a land and brought over, it's rough, man. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. Yeah, it is rough. But it was foretold and it was prophesied that these situations would come to pass. If you just look, you can see the signs. But you still have to understand how to conduct yourself, because something that's even worse to me, because I really do feel like slavery back there when they were in bondage, yeah, they were, but they were a unit. And they came out of that because they turned back to the source of the Most High, in their chants in the fields and the praise and everything. And for some brief moment in time, he heard the cries. But you have to deal with these other situations when you deal with paganism and you deal with other things, and you start to chase after and covet it and want to be like other civilizations that are not anointed or appointed, or don't have a real plan for your better off benefit or your health. You know, that's just the reality of it. You know, health companies and industries don't want to save you. They want you dependent because they want residual income. McDonald's controls the food market because they buy the most beef. So they can run these advertisements. They can even have other sub companies and the way that people buy them, and they still control what you eat. If you don't understand how this thing and how these games go, and then they're not even really into food, they're into real estate because they control the market in all the cities and stuff like that. I mean, it's huge. Once you start looking at the big picture and you see how far the rabbit hole goes when it comes to this reality and this modern day slavery. I will speak a little bit more on these things in my journal and my memoirs coming up. No Fuckery, Views of an Anointed Nutritionalist. I hope this information helps. And so, you know, like Harriet Tubman said, I have freed 1,000 slaves. I have freed a lot of slaves. I know I do the Most High work. I would have freed thousands of more if they knew they were actually slaves. My name is Lamont Gilchrist. Thanks.